it's the iPad. I'm texting our IT guy. Next month, we should be back in our normal space, so I'll have somewhat of an idea of what to do to get it to work right. Guess I should check quick. Well, at least the meeting's recording, so that's at least good. Well, I'm sorry, Mary, you might not get video tonight.
That's fine.
All right, Dan, it's 5:15, sir.
Okay, you're going by yours instead of the wall.
Oh, yeah, the computer just said 5:15,
Right.
so that's up. You are the president. You can start when you would like, sir.
I was going to go by that one.
That works.
Attention, but
That is just.
okay, we'll call this meeting of the Board of Aviation Commissioners on August 11th to order. Record show that all members are present. The only visitor we have is David Sloan. So we will move on to the approval of the July minutes, which, if you had a chance to review, I will entertain a motion to approve.
So moved. I'll second.
Steve first, Ern second. Any questions, corrections, comments? All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Okay, that is taken care of. Next, we have the claims, and we'll go to the prior two claims first. It is $59,547.67. Entertain a motion to approve claims, the prior two claims.
I got a question, Nick.
Mm-hmm.
Under the appropriation title, aviation repairs and maintenance, there's a bunch of my wash claims there.
Yes,
So
so.
they're also listed under aviation printing and advertising.
There was, some issues, and we were working with the clerk's office to make sure that those get underneath the right appropriation number. They weren't recorded correctly, and we're working on getting those fixed. So that's how they're currently recorded, and that, I don't know what the solution for that is yet, Ernie.
And are those car washes?
Yeah, for the crew cars. They got pretty dirty with all the construction that we've got going on with dirt and everything else, and us being short-staffed right now, with the
Okay.
guys we're just running them
My
through.
only question is, if you looked at an annual pass,
We have not, but we'll definitely look into that.
that was just my question.
Okay.
Yes, if that's going to be something that's happening very often,
I think the guys were using it, so our summer intern was over a few weeks ago. Our new school year interns just started yesterday, and we've had a couple staff members out with some family illnesses, and so we've been, for about 2 weeks, we've been short-staffed with only, one guy per shift. So that's why we were using the mine wash.
Okay.
But I will look into
I
that.
take a motion to
Yeah.
approve the claims.
All right, any other questions or comments in regard to the prior two claims?
Then I'll second the motion.
Okay, moved, Steve seconded. All in favor of the motion, signify by aye.
Aye.
None opposed? All right. Next, we will, look at the Titan, Aviation, payments. There are two, Atlas Software, $395, and, one load of Jet A for $26,523.59. I'll entertain a motion to approve those claims.
So moved.
Second.
Second by Steve. Any comments, questions?
This is new software you have to use.
Yeah, it's a little getting used to. All in favor of the motion, signify by aye.
Aye.
None opposed? Okay. So we have the claims, next would be the engineer's report.
Alrighty, let me share my screen. Are you all able to see that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, great. There's some storms in the area right now, so I was hoping Wi-Fi wouldn't mess up on me. So first, for improved runway 927 safety area, if you remember, we received some final comments from the FAA after about 6 months of this report being in their hands. So we addressed those and returned the final report to them July 31st. So we will be working on closing out that grant here in the next month or so. So that'd be the last thing to do with this project is just grant closeout. Next up, more grant closeout is the conduct wildlife hazard site visit. So we received the FAA's acceptance letter of the report back in June 22nd. And you should have the grant closeout paperwork to sign. So we used all the funds associated with this. So there are $0 to return to the FAA. So signature on AIP grant number 3-18-0085-023-2023 for the closeout paperwork associated with that project.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, Steve moved and John seconded. Questions, comments? All in favor of the motion, signify by aye.
Aye.
None opposed?
Alrighty, thank you. If you notice, there's a theme here, corporate taxiway Echo 1 rehabilitation project. All closeout documentation was sent to the FAA back in February. We're still waiting for their approval to close that grant out. I've messaged the ADO manager almost monthly, and I just haven't heard anything. I believe the grant expires at the end of September, so I imagine come next board meeting, we'll get approval to close that out because we will have to by the deadline. So no update, on that one yet, but, anticipate, closeout, for that, next month.
And I'll just say, I talked to Mary about this earlier today because I was looking back at my notes. We submitted the original closeout, did I tell you February, Mary? And we've been
Yeah,
waiting, we've been
February.
waiting since February for this paperwork, so. I know they're in a transition period right now. We're working on trying to onboard our new program manager. So I'm gonna be reaching out tomorrow to figure out where we're at, because we're just, right now, we've got, are we at 3 grants we're trying to close out? And we just, all they need to do is get us the paperwork so we can have the board approve it, and then we'll get all those grants off of our engineer's report. So, just wanted you to know.
We're trying.
Yep.
Next, any questions about that before I move on?
None.
Alrighty. Next up is some exciting construction projects, taxiway Bravo rehab. Since last month, we've prepared issued for construction documents. We gave the construction notice to proceed. That started on July 31st. And Finn & Brown, since July 31st, has worked on installing barricades, and they've performed some of the large crack repairs. The test strip, it was actually scheduled for today, but then with the rain, it's been moved. Last I heard, it's still scheduled for tomorrow.
That's the last I heard.
We'll see what the weather does. It may get pushed back a little bit with that. So yeah, a lot of work happening there. We had I didn't list it on the agenda, but we held the pre-con meeting. Monday we held the pre-pave meeting, and we've been holding pre-construction weekly meetings. So if anyone would like to come to one of the construction meetings to see what's happened during the project, they're Thursdays at the airport at 9 a.m. So feel free to come and hear about the project. So we just have one motion for the board for approval of Dan Robinson's signature on CHA invoice 58412.7-13 in the amount of $24,384.71. This is an FAA funded project, so the local share is $609.62. Any questions for me?
Not at this time. John made the motion. Questions, comments?
I'll second the motion.
Steve seconds. All in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
None opposed. Okay.
Sorry, it was hard for me to hear. Is everything?
Yep, that should be good.
Mary,
Okay, sorry. I didn't want to move on if it was still going through the
sorry
process.
about
So.
that.
Alrighty, no update on task order number 9 or 10. And then another exciting construction project, runway 927. So this one we were actually thinking would occur after taxiway Bravo, but with discussions with Finn & Brown, the contractor, and with Nick, we decided to actually have 927 and taxiway Bravo occur at the same time. So if you haven't been out there lately, 927 and a small section of Bravo are closed, basically from 927 to the terminal ramp. So a lot has happened in the last month. We prepared issue for construction documents. The notice to proceed for construction was a little bit later, August 7th for this project, and similar to 927, they've installed barricades and they've performed the large crack repairs. So it's a very similar project in what we're doing with Taxway Bravo. The asphalt mixes are different though, with this being a local project, we're, using, NDOT mix designs instead of FAA mix designs to help reduce the cost. The milling, I don't know, I don't think they did any milling today,
No,
Nick. I
they
think-
did not.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, with the rain, that changed a little bit.
so they've got all of the full depth crack repair complete for the phase one, the southern portion of Bravo, as well as the runway project. And they have the mill for Bravo as well as a test strip complete as well. Today they were hoping to mill 927, so that, today and tomorrow they were hoping to get that milled so that we could start the fabric and then get everything ready to pave. Mary, right now, the last I heard from Brent, and again, this is weather pending, we are hoping to have 927 at least open temporarily starting the 22nd or 23rd. So that
That's
would
what I
be
heard as well.
2 weeks from tomorrow is the goal. We will have some intermittent closure with grooving and painting throughout that process, but at least the runway will be back open and we'll be able to get some traffic in and out, so. As soon as they're done on 2-7, they're gonna move right over to Bravo and keep going north, and so that project will continue as well.
So all I have for this one is just motion and board approval on CHA invoice 5841211-18 in the amount of $11,908.09. And again, this is a local only project on this, so that local share is the same.
Motion to approve.
Okay, make the motion.
Second.
John seconds. Any questions or comments here?
I do have a
Go ahead.
silly question, and that is, why does FAA pay for the taxiway but not a runway?
Because in their opinion, the runway pavement condition index was not low enough to warrant a rehab. Our runway pavement was in too good of condition for it to be considered.
I didn't have one.
I'm just telling you what we were told.
That pavement, remind us again, is what, 40 years old?
I believe it was put in 82.
Yeah, almost, yeah.
And I was actually looking at it, I believe our terminal building will be, was it put in, I think it was put in August of 56. So,
It's 56?
so it's,
No, I think it was done later than that. I believe that was done in the 60s.
well, I'll look, but I think it was 56. I'll check tomorrow. Anyway, sorry, Mary, went down a rabbit hole.
No, you're fine.
But does that answer your question, John?
Yeah, thanks.
All in favor of the motion, signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. All approved, none opposed. Okay, Mary, that one's approved.
Alrighty, the last one is Taxway Alpha Basis of Design. We are finalizing our report and we're shooting to get that to the FAA in September. So right now, we just have one motion for board approval and Dan Robinson's signature on CHA invoice 5841212-07 in the amount of $7,299.97. This one is also federally funded, so the local share is $182.50.
Entertain a motion.
Any questions?
So moved.
Second.
Steve, motion, Ernie second. Questions? All in favor of the motion, signify by aye.
Aye.
All approved, none opposed.
Well, thank you all. Any questions for me?
Yes. Do you anticipate we'll get a partial invoice from Finn and Brown for this work, or are they gonna wait until they're done?
Yeah, so we're trying to do monthly invoices, just with the way the start of the project occurred. We're not anticipating one from them until September, but we do have a schedule from them that they will submit us their first invoices for both of these projects at the end of the month, August 31st, so that that'll give us enough time to review it and bring it to the September board meeting.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Okay, you're up.
All right, so I've talked with Dan about this quite a bit the last couple of weeks as you guys are reviewing the fuel usage report and the income statement. The new program does not run the reports, as I'm sure you have noticed, the way the old program did. And so I just wanted to have a conversation with the board to know what exactly you would like to see in these fuel usage and income statement reports moving forward. And that will give Kelsey, we're still learning this new program, and it does a lot, and it's all very different than FBO was. And so we're still trying to figure out the ins and outs, but we want to give you what you would actually like to see. So if that's year over year, where were we last year versus this year? Are you looking for yearly totals, monthly totals? What information specifically, so that we can work with Atlas to try and build the appropriate reports to give you exactly what it is you are looking for?
I had told Nick what I'd like to see is what, like we used to get, monthly and year-to-date in comparison, year-to-date previous year, for gallonage and income. I kinda like being able to make that comparison.
Wasn't that what we got?
We kind of
That's
do.
just gallons. Yeah, and so we can, that's where, do you want it by customer?
This report here, gives the July, gallonage of Jet A
Right.
and fuel, and it gives the dollar amount for the month. This little thing here gives a comparison of the gallonage, but not the dollars.
The new program, if it does do it, we have not figured it out yet. With total FBO, we could select our based customers and then build a report specifically on those customers. And it showed you all of the aircraft underneath that business. With Atlas, if it allows it, we have not found it yet, but it only lets us sort by tail number. So if we give you a similar report for the based customers, instead of it saying, Imager or Zimmer Biomet, it's going to have each individual tail number, but it's not gonna associate that to the customer name that we have found yet. And that's where we're just still trying to figure this new program out. Or it would show just the customer, but it's the total amount that they've purchased, and that's for the year, correct? Yeah, and that's the other issue, is because we started this program in June, we can't import anything prior to June, so it's gonna take us a few months to build that year over year, unless Kelsey and I sit down and calculate all of that by hand every month.
Does the software company have some type of customer support that's available?
They do, and
They
we've
can't
been,
figure it out either?
we've been using it quite a bit just to get through the day-to-day stuff. I mean, we've got a lot of new things that we are adding in. We've gone away from paper to everything digital, and that's been a big transition for the guys, so we aren't keeping paper logs of all of our fuelings anymore. All of that is done digitally through the program. As far as the report goes, I have not personally, have you talked to them about this? And that's where we're just trying to figure out what it is you want, so that we can see how to build that report to give you guys that on a monthly basis. Because right now, they're all individual. If we wanna do the year over year or the month to date or anything, we can't combine those into one spreadsheet. They're all separate reports that are run.
Just looking at this report versus this report, the gallonages don't match. So I'm not quite sure. My suspicion is probably this one's more accurate than that one, but I didn't sit down and try to total it myself. And bottom line is that, it looks like compared to July 25, Jet A's down, 100 low leads up.
Correct.
But year to date, Jet A is up substantially, and, low lead is also up substantially.
Correct.
So,
I think
but
a
I
big,
just wanted to point out that the two reports don't quite jive. They're not terribly far apart, but
okay. Well, real quick, the reason I believe our Jet A is down for the month is solely because the crop dusters did not get started as early this year. They've been flying their pants off the last 2 weeks, but they did not get, last year they started, I think it was the second or third week of July. Talking to them, they're gonna be pretty close to on par with what they were last year, but they just, with the prices the way they are, not as many farmers are using their services this year.
Once we get the reports straightened out, would you let us know what it is that we sell out there that costs a nickel?
Yes, Chris. It's our fuel additive, and the Prist is, it's basically an anti-icing inhibitor that goes into the jet fuel, and per gallon it costs a nickel.
Wow.
So I've got, you'd like to see the monthly totals, the year-to-date totals, and then the year-over-year, where we compare to where we were last year. Is there anything else you guys would like us to try and figure out? Okay, well, we'll start with those and, see what we can do, and we'll keep you updated.
Okay.
Okay, if no other questions on all of that, move into, we've got a couple unfinished business items to attend to. First up is the sign policy. Last month, we had a request for some signage at the airport. I drafted up an updated sign policy using the current sign policy that we have, which is fairly loose and vague. I tried to tighten that up a little bit. Speaking with some board members earlier today, we'd like to add a grandfather clause that would read something to the effect of any signs currently in place as of August 1st would be grandfathered in underneath this policy. And then any signs in the future would have to be considered by the board. Were there any other edits or things that you would like to see changed, modified, removed?
Are you comfortable with the signs that exist that you want to grandfather in?
Yeah, I don't know of any that would be outside of, that would not be following this current policy.
the only sign I don't like is the one up at, what is that, 300 north or 350 north?
The airport sign?
Airport sign.
We're actually working on getting that moved. We were actually talking with the planning department and the street department. That's inside of the right of way now. And so we're gonna have to move that sign and get it out of the way. So we're working on that project.
Well, my objection is if you're driving a pickup truck,
Can't see.
if you're in a car sitting down lower, you can see fairly well, but in a pickup truck or something larger, it blocks your vision.
Yep. That was gonna be a project we worked on this week, but with the soft ground, we didn't think driving our equipment on the soft ground and leaving ruts up there would be good. So, but that is on our project list, Dan.
Good. Any other, do I hear a motion on regarding this, written sign policy?
signs that exist today fit these requirements? We really need a grandfather clause. I'm a little concerned with possibility of something being out there that doesn't fit, that we're not aware of.
I think it's sort of a belt and suspenders thing, just in case,
Yeah.
Nick's memory is less than perfect.
And we all know it is.
I know mine is.
Yeah.
I think just as a matter of record, we should have it on there. And if somebody questions down the road, say, okay, we've covered that. That has something existing, or if somebody in the future says, well, they've got that, why can't I? We've got it covered. So, personally, I agree with Steve, it needs to be there. Okay? Any other comments or questions? If not, who seconded this? Ern seconded, okay. All in favor of the motion, with the amendment to grandfather clause, signify by aye.
Aye.
Aye. None opposed. Okay.
All right, moving on to the hay rental contract. Steve, thank you very much for providing that draft for me to work with. I updated it and added in a couple clauses specific to airports with regard to wildlife hazard mitigation and, some grass height requirements, things like that. Also doing some research, and I would need to pull up let me see if I can find it quickly. There is Indiana code that allows a board of aviation commissioners to enter into a contract with an individual and not go through the public bid process. Because airports are so sensitive to allowing persons from the public onto the property, there are special exemptions to the public bid rules. I actually didn't know they existed. Don Tribbett informed me of those, and when we deal with cash rent, or in this case, the hay rent, if the board so elects, we do not have to follow the public bid rules, and if we have a known person that we have worked with in the past or have a good relationship with, the board is allowed within their rights to sign that contract with that individual, based off of that known relationship. So with that information, I just wanted to let you guys know that as well. So moving forward, if there's a individual that we would like to work with directly, we can. If you would like to go through the public bid process, we can do that. It is entirely up to the board.
That part we don't have to decide tonight, do we?
We do not. And you do not have to make a motion on this document either. If you'd like to take it under advisement and look into it a little bit more, that's A-okay as well. This was just, I presented a draft and there were some areas missing, and Steve was gracious enough to help me work through some of that, so I just wanted to get this back in front of you.
Are there any questions or anything at this point that we need to discuss? I've got a question. Specifically, what areas of the airport property are we talking about in this? All areas? Or
No, did mine,
specific? There's no map attached.
I apologize, Dan, I was supposed to print it. It is all areas outside of the runway safety area, taxiway safety area. We are not allowing inside the triangle area where the windsock is. Mary, you won't be able to see this, I
So this is
apologize.
we're talking about the area inside the fence.
Correct,
Okay.
inside the fence and outside. Mary, you won't see this, sorry, I went away from you for a second. And I'll email that to I apologize, I thought that was attached too. So it's a you know where the runway safety area is, it goes a couple hundred feet surrounding the runways and taxiways. So right in that area there, we will not be allowing mowing. And then the part, this triangle area here is the other area. We don't want any tractors or anything crossing the taxiway. There's too many jets that use that. We don't wanna have grass or dirt or anything else drug across that. So my staff will continue to maintain this area in here. But this section along the western side of the airport, this southern section down here, this section along in here, this triangular section here, we will do this area up here. And then over here, we own these two, this parcel as well as this parcel. And while some of that cannot be mown just because of how marshy it is, those sections would be included in that as well.
Now, what about the one right off adjacent to the road?
This section here,
Yes.
that is underneath a farm rent with Robert, or, who has it right now?
Bishop?
Bishop's got the, thank you, Dan. Bishop has the contract currently for the airport farm rent. So he is farming this field as well as this field up here.
Okay. Do we want to act on this tonight, or do we want to think about it further?
I'm willing to act on it with the understanding that we're not gonna be asked to sign this document unless Exhibit A is attached to it.
Correct. And this is just the draft document, and then after that, I just need to know, would you like to do a public bid, or do you want us to use a vendor that we know and trust to mow? So we can solve this first, and then, we can have that discussion.
Haven't we already had a little bit of an issue with one person,
We did.
so we want to be choosy?
That would be my recommendation. We gave some, pretty clear direction on where they were allowed to go and not go, and one of the individuals did not follow that, adhere to that, and, luckily, it did not cause any safety issues or anything like that, but that's pretty concerning if you have a drawn map with an outline of where you can and can't go, and a couple hours later, you're in the wrong area. That doesn't lead us to warm and fuzzy feelings, so. And that Indiana code, just so you guys have it on record, is IC 82225 B7. It says grants local board of aviation commissioners the specific statutory authority to lease airport land, buildings, or real property for terms and conditions determined by the board to be in the best interest of the airport without triggering mandatory public auction or public bidding requirements.
My opinion is we take advantage of that.
I think so too.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve this draft agreement?
I
With
think
the
Steve did
stipulation.
with the exhibit A attached.
Okay, do we have a second?
Second.
Ernie, second. Any further questions or comments? Clarifications? If none, all in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
Approved and opposed.
Okay. Moving right along, I was contacted by Todd Braddock. He is the gentleman that we've worked with for the last few years, for the deer reduction zone application. We are coming up to that here for the 2026-2027 deer season. They would like to continue to do that as they have in the past. We have not had any issues with that, and I personally love this program because if they're out hunting deer, that's less deer that can make it onto the airport property and cause wildlife hazard. It is outside of our airport operating area, it's outside of the fence, and we've not had any complaints from any of the neighbors at all. So I would support this application and allow allowing the City of Warsaw Deer Task Force to hunt that eastern parcel, two parcels, excuse me, as they have in the past.
I see you've not marked the third parcel furthest east. Is that omission by design, or?
This was their application, I will talk to them and see, but I do not believe they have hunted that in the past.
Okay. It's okay with me, I just wondered if that was.
I think the main reason for that is the line between those two parcels is where we have that small tree row, and part of the Deer Task Force rules is you have to be in a deer stand. That way you're shooting down and there's no possibility of an arrow, having more carry to it. They wanna make sure they're shooting down, and I think that's why they've got it designed that way.
As much as I am acquainted with both Mr. Setzer and Mr. Dick, I think it would be best if I didn't participate or vote on this.
Okay.
That kind of starts to create a problem, because I know Mr. Dick and Mr. Reed.
Well, they will be the individuals, and I don't know if this makes a difference, Steve, they will be the individuals representing the Deer Task Force. So this agreement is not with those individuals, this agreement is with the City of Warsaw Deer Task Force. Those would be the 4 individuals that would be allowed to hunt this property. I don't know if that makes a difference or not in conflict of interest. And if you guys are uncomfortable, the other option that we have with that is you can give me the recommendation, I can take this to the Board of Works, and, we can give a recommendation to the Board of Works and let them make the final decision on behalf of the airport if we don't have a quorum on this option.
Why don't we do that? That'll get both Dan and I off the hook.
Okay. So I just need a motion and that to pass for me to take this to Board of Works on behalf of the airport board.
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor of the motion to recommend this application to the Board of Works, signify by aye.
Aye.
All opposed? None opposed.
Okay, and the last thing on the list, very exciting. As Mary was saying earlier, we've got a lot of construction going with the asphalt, but we are also making heads and bounds with the self-serve fuel farm as well. So this contract with D&D Maintenance is to have the electric pulled from the building out to the fuel farm. As you can see from the proposal, there's quite a bit of specific needs to meet both the NFPA and IDEM rules as far as emergency shutoff equipment for the electrical system. So there will have to be 4 conduits pulled out to run the electrical, and then one of those 4 will also be for data to run our camera system, and we'll have a backup for the credit card reader as well. The credit card reader is primarily a cell. It's all off of a cell modem, so it should not need any internet from the airport, but our cameras will. And this will be to provide all of the power up to the actual fuel farm. And then Rebel Services is going to be the company. We're still working out the final details on the final installation with them, but this would be us tying off to them, and then they would take the electrical and finish the final card reader and pump installation.
I guess my only question is, you have to publicly bid this?
It's under 50,000,
Okay.
and so we just went out, and D&D knows the airport's electrical issues better than just about anybody, so.
No, I'd make a motion to approve.
And do I hear a second?
Second.
Second by John. Any further questions or comments? All in favor of the motion to approve the DD proposal, signify by aye.
Aye.
None opposed?
Okay,
Why, quick question on that, 'cause
yeah.
why is the emergency stop 25 feet away?
fire, it's far enough away that you can go over and still hit the emergency stop for it.
You don't wanna have to run into the fire and then shut it off.
No, well, I just say 25 feet just seems like a long way to me.
Yeah,
If you have a fuel spill.
that's what the code is.
Honestly, if it's a-
There's emergency shut-offs on the farm itself. There has to be an additional one that is 25 feet away. So I think there's 3 total actually at the unit, but then you have to have a 4th one that is separate. So all the power goes there first, and then you have to pull that back over. So it's one of those, you just have to do it. All right, and then the last 2 things I have for you. I don't know what was next. Do you have the Warsaw Airport Overlay District or the Zimmer Biomet proposal first? Hmm?
I got the overlay.
Let's talk about the overlay.
Okay. So I appreciate you guys letting me walk these in. So we are still working with HWC on the final draft language of the overlay district, working with both the city and the county planning department. There have been quite a few nuances that they have had to work through to get the language correct. And that is why we don't have the final product for you to review this evening. Speaking with Brian Stumpf earlier this week, we were talking and we both feel that the alternate B schedule listed there would be the best path to try and get this across the finish line still this year for adoption yet in '26. But that would cause the airport to have a special board meeting later this month so that we can get the board's approval as we're going through all of the different plan commissions and council presentations as well. So if the board is okay with it, I would propose that we try and schedule a special meeting either on the 16th or the 17th of this month. And it would just have to be a quick meeting that we would just be focused on this one item. Excuse me, 16th is a Sunday, I meant 17th, yeah, let's,
Yeah, there.
the 17th, yep, of August. So 9/17, that Monday.
I can do the 17th.
Okay.
I can't,
You can't,
I can't.
You can.
are you out that whole week, Dan?
Yes,
Okay. Are you back the week of the 24th?
yes.
Okay. The 24th was an option for Brian, so if you guys are okay with it, let's pencil in. If that doesn't work for you, Ernie?
No,
Okay.
not the 24th.
Okay, if we move into, what about September 16th? That would be, we'd have another airport meeting. Let me get with Brian, we'll come up with some more dates and I'll get them out to the board. We'll figure out a date for the special date for the overlay district. How's that? Actually, if I'm reading this right, if we go with alternate B, that means, we would actually be able to keep our next board meeting, we shouldn't have to have a special meeting. Okay, so let's tentatively plan that right now, and, I'll confirm with Brian in the morning, and I'll shoot you guys an email, let you know.
So our next meeting is tentatively scheduled for September what?
That would be, our next scheduled meeting is the 8th. Got an early meeting. Okay, and then the only other thing that I have to bring before the board tonight is the HVAC for hangar 121. Hangar 121 is currently leased by Zimmer Biomet. Dan, you and I were talking, that building 85?
It was opened, turned over to Zimmer in early 85, I believe.
85. So that HVAC unit is 41 years old. It has served the airport very well. When we looked at making repairs to the unit, it was enough that it makes sense to replace it. It was within $10,000 of just a total replacement. To replace that, those two units, the quote that we have is $37,900. We did receive a couple other quotes, but that's with Core Mechanical. They were the low quote. And working with Zimmer Biomet, they have offered to enter into a memorandum of agreement with the airport. And if the airport will make those repairs on behalf of Zimmer, they will reimburse the airport for the full amount of the project for that $37,900. And so I would just need if the board approves this, they will pay for a new HVAC system for our building, and then they will start doing preventative care maintenance on it moving forward. So we would just need a motion for your signatures on this agreement, and then we'll get it over to Zimmer for their signatures, and we'll be able to get it scheduled with Core and get that project taken care of.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
Any comments, questions? Hearing none, all in favor of the motion signify by aye.
Aye.
And that is all I have, unless the board has anything else for me. All right, unless you guys have anything else, I think that's all we've got for tonight.
Since you're our only audience, Dave, do you have any questions?
No, Nick does a pretty good job of covering everything, so.
That's good.
Okay, our next regular scheduled meeting is September 8th, hopefully back at City Hall, and at 5:15, I hear a motion for adjournment.
So moved.
All right.
Thanks, Mary.
Adjourned. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Stay dry out there.
You too.
Bye.
Bye.
I wouldn't necessarily count.